Introduction. The machine with a beating heart. Welcome back to Peak English. There are two types of greatness in this world. There is the greatness that is given, the genius, the Mozart, the person born with a magic touch. And then there is the greatness that is built, brick by brick, drop of sweat by drop of sweat. The greatness that is carved out of rock with bare hands. Today we are telling the story of the second kind. We know his name, Cristiano Ronaldo. We know the numbers, 5 Ballon d'Ors, over 800 career goals, the most followed human being on social media in the history of the world. But do you know the cost? Do you know that before he was a god, he was a skinny boy who swept streets to help his mother? Do you know that he was mocked for his accent until he cried every night? Do you know that he played a football match hours after holding his dying father's hand? Some people hate him. They say he is arrogant. They say he is obsessed with himself. But perhaps obsession is the only way to escape poverty. Perhaps arrogance is just the armor you wear when the world tells you no. This is not a story about football. If you don't like sports, stay with us. Because this is a story about discipline. It is a story about longevity. It is a story about refusing to accept that you are ordinary. Today we will learn English through the pain and the glory of CR7. And at the end of every chapter, we will see exactly how his mindset can change the way you learn English. Get ready, focus, because the class is in session. Part 1, The Unwanted Child, Funchal, Madeira. A small island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It is beautiful, but for the poor, it is a prison. In 1985, a woman named Dolores Aveiro was pregnant. She was a cook. She already had 3 children. Her husband, Dinas, was a gardener, but he spent all his money on alcohol. They were drowning in poverty. Dolores was scared. She went to the doctor and asked for an abortion. She said, "I cannot feed another mouth." The doctor refused. He said, "No, you will have this baby." So she went home. She tried to do it herself. She drank warm beer. She ran until she collapsed. She wanted the baby to disappear, but the baby refused to die. He was born on February 5th, 1985. They named him Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. Years later, Dolores would laugh and say, "I wanted to send you away, and you are the one who saved me." Cristiano grew up in a house that wasn't really a house. It was a shack. The roof leaked when it rained. He shared one tiny room with his brother and 2 sisters. They had no toys. So Cristiano found a ball, or sometimes just a bottle, or a bundle of rags. He played in the street. The concrete was rough. He fell. He bled. He got up. His father, Dinas, was the kit man at the local football club, Andorinha. Dinas was a good man, but he was haunted by his time as a soldier in the war. To forget the war, he drank every day. Cristiano watched his father slowly disappear into a bottle. He saw the anger. He saw the sadness. He promised himself, "I will never drink. I will never be like that." At school, Cristiano was not a genius. One day, a teacher mocked his accent. Madeira has a very different accent from mainland Portugal. The teacher made fun of his family's poverty. Cristiano didn't argue. He picked up a chair and threw it at the teacher. He was expelled. His mother looked at him and said, "Cristiano, school is not for you. Football is your life. Go and play." But there was a physical problem. At age 15, while he was training, his heart started racing. Bump, 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 bump. He was resting, but his heart was beating like he was sprinting. The doctors told his mother, "He has a racing heart condition. He might have to stop playing football forever. Imagine that moment. The one thing that makes you special, the one thing that can save your family from hunger, is about to be taken away. They did a laser surgery to fix his heart. In the morning, he was in the hospital. By the afternoon, he was discharged. By the evening, he was running in the streets again. He didn't rest. He ran faster. He felt that God had given him a second chance, and he wasn't going to waste it. Pause for a moment. Cristiano had a heart condition. It was a physical barrier that almost stopped him. In learning English, you have barriers too. Maybe your tongue feels heavy. Maybe you can't hear the difference between ship and sheep. Maybe you feel like your brain is broken when you try to speak. Cristiano didn't quit because of a defect. He fixed it, and he practiced harder. The lesson: don't let a physical difficulty stop you. If your pronunciation is bad, that is your heart condition. Operate on it. Practice it. Drill it until it is fixed. Do not accept it as your destiny. Part 2. The foreigner in his own country. At 12 years old, Cristiano made a decision that would break most adults. Sporting Lisbon, the biggest club in the capital, wanted him. But he had to leave Madeira. He had to go alone. He arrived in Lisbon. It was the same country, Portugal, but it felt like a different planet. The people in Lisbon spoke with a posh, fast accent. When Cristiano opened his mouth, the other kids laughed. They couldn't understand him. They mocked his village voice. He was lonely. He missed his mother. Every night, he would go to the telephone booth in the hallway. He would call Dolores and cry, "Mama, please, let me come home. I can't do this." Dolores, fighting her own tears, would say, "No, son, you have a gift. You stay. You fight." He was skinny, very skinny. On the field, he was fast, but the bigger boys pushed him off the ball. They called him Noodle. "You have talent," the coaches said, "but you are too small." Cristiano heard this. He looked in the mirror. He saw the ribs showing. He decided to change his biology. He started sneaking out of the dormitory at night. The gym was locked, so he climbed over the roof. He lifted weights in the dark. He did push-ups until his arms shook. He bought weights and strapped them to his ankles. He would run on the streets with weights, thinking, "If I can run fast with these, imagine how fast I will be without them." He wasn't just training, he was sculpting himself. He told his roommate, "One day, I will be the best in the world." His roommate laughed. "You, the crying boy from Madeira?" "Yes," Cristiano said. "Me." One night, the security guards caught him in the gym at 2 a.m. They dragged him back to bed. So, he started doing sit-ups in the shower so no one would hear him. He turned his anger, his loneliness, and his homesickness into muscle. Think about Cristiano in Lisbon. He was mocked for his accent. He was laughed at when he spoke. Does this sound familiar? Many of you are afraid to speak English because you fear judgment. You fear that people will laugh at your Vietnamese accent. Cristiano was laughed at in his own language. But did he stop speaking? No. Did he run home? No. He built himself up so big that nobody dared to laugh anymore. The lesson: when people mock your English, let them laugh. Use that anger. Go home and study harder. Read louder. Practice more. Make your skills so strong that one day, the people who laughed at you will be bragging that they know you. Part 3. The Devil and the Father. 2003. A friendly match. Sporting Lisbon versus Manchester United. The Manchester United players were giants. Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Rio Ferdinand. They expected an easy game against some Portuguese kids. Then they met the boy with the spaghetti hair. Cristiano tore them apart. He twisted the defender John O'Shea so badly that, at halftime, O'Shea needed an oxygen mask because he was so dizzy. On the bus home, the United players told their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, "Boss, we cannot leave without him." A week later, Cristiano was in Manchester. He asked for the number 28 shirt. Ferguson said, "No, you will wear number 7. Number 7 was sacred. It was the shirt of legends: George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham. Ferguson was putting a heavy weight on the boy's shoulders. He was saying, "I believe you are a legend." Cristiano found a new father in Ferguson. His real father was dying of alcoholism back home, but Ferguson was the strict, loving father he needed. But the English press? They were cruel. They called him a show pony. They said he did too many tricks. They said he had no end product. They kicked him. They booed him. Then came 2005. Cristiano was in a hotel room in Moscow for a match with Portugal. The phone rang. It was the news he had dreaded his whole life. His father, Denis, was dead. Liver failure from alcohol. He was only 52. The coach, Luis Felipe Scolari, told Cristiano, "You can go home. You don't have to play today." Cristiano wiped his tears. He looked at the coach. "No," he said, "I will play. I will play to honor him." That night, he played with a broken heart. He realized that life is short, and he had to succeed now. Then came 2006. The World Cup, Portugal versus England. Wayne Rooney, Cristiano's teammate at Manchester United, got a red card. Cristiano winked at his bench. The British media exploded. They blamed Ronaldo for England's loss. The winker, the villain. Newspapers printed dartboards with his face on them. He had to return to Manchester, to the country that hated him. Everyone told him to leave. "Go to Real Madrid," they said. "England is too dangerous for you." But Cristiano didn't run. He went back to Manchester. He walked onto the pitch. 70,000 people booed him. Every time he touched the ball, "Bo!" And what did he do? He destroyed them. That season, 2007-2008, he became a monster. He scored 42 goals. He won the Champions League. He won his first Ballon d'Or. He silenced an entire nation, not with words, but with goals. Cristiano was hated by millions. He was booed every time he worked. Imagine if every time you spoke English, someone booed you. You would probably quit, right? But Cristiano understood that pressure is a privilege. When the environment gets hard, you have two choices. You can melt, or you can turn into a diamond. The lesson: is English hard right now? Are you struggling with a difficult exam like IELTS or TOEIC? Do you feel like the world is against you? Good. That is your 2006 World Cup. Don't run away to an easier language. Stay, fight, let the difficulty make you a master. Part 4. The Obsession versus the Genius. In 2009, he moved to Real Madrid for a world record fee. But he wasn't just fighting defenders anymore. He was fighting a ghost. He was fighting a shadow. Lionel Messi. The world created a narrative. Messi was the natural genius, the one touched by God. He played effortlessly. Ronaldo was the machine, the result of the laboratory, the product of ego and sweat. It drove Cristiano crazy. If Messi scored 2 goals, Ronaldo had to score 3. If Messi won a trophy, Ronaldo couldn't sleep. His teammates tell stories about his obsession. Patrice Evra said, "If Cristiano invites you for lunch, don't go." Why? Because lunch is just boiled chicken and water. And after lunch, let's play 2-touch. Let's go to the pool. Let's do sit-ups. He never stopped. Once, after a Champions League game at 3 a.m., while other players went clubbing, Cristiano went to the training center to take an ice bath. 3 a.m. Freezing water, alone. Why? Because he needed his legs to be 1% better for the next game. This obsession culminated in 2016, the Euro final, France versus Portugal. This was his chance to win something for his country. But in the 25th minute, disaster struck. A heavy tackle smashed his knee. He tried to stand up. He fell. He tried to run. He fell. Moths were flying around his face as he sat on the grass, crying. The tears mixed with the sweat. He was carried off on a stretcher. The captain was gone. But he didn't go to the locker room. He bandaged his leg. He limped back to the sideline. He became the coach. He screamed at his teammates. He pushed them. He limped up and down the line, more active than the manager. When Eder scored the winning goal, Cristiano collapsed again. He had won. Not with his legs, but with his spirit. Ronaldo versus Messi. Hard work versus talent. Maybe you look at other people learning English. Maybe they seem to learn so fast. They have a gift for languages. They are the Messis. And you? You struggle to remember 5 words. You are not a genius. Cristiano teaches us that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You don't need to be born with an English brain. You just need to be the person who stays up late, studying when everyone else is sleeping. You need to be the person who reads the dictionary while others are watching TikTok. Be the machine. Part 5. The body is a temple. Most footballers die at 30. Not literally, but professionally. Their legs go, their speed goes. They go to smaller leagues to retire. Cristiano refused to age. At 33, when he moved to Juventus, the doctors checked his body. They were shocked. They said, "You have the body of a 20-year-old, 7% body fat, 50% muscle mass." How? Discipline. Radical, boring, painful discipline. He eats 6 small meals a day. No sugar, no alcohol, no sauces. He sleeps in 90-minute cycles, 5 times a day. He has a cryotherapy chamber in his house that freezes his body to 160 degrees Celsius to recover. There is a famous moment at a press conference. He sat down. There were 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in front of him, a sponsor. He looked at them with disgust. He moved them aside. He held up a bottle of water and shouted, "Agua!" Water. That simple action cost Coca-Cola billions in market value. But it showed his truth. He will not put poison in his Ferrari. Even now, playing in Saudi Arabia, at nearly 40 years old, he is the first one at training. People laugh. He is finished, they say. He plays in the desert. But watch him. Watch the hunger. Watch the way he celebrates a goal against a small team with the same passion as a Champions League final. He is fighting against the one enemy that no one defeats: time. And for a long, long time, he is winning. Longevity. Many people start learning English with fire. They study 5 hours a day for 1 week, and then they quit. Cristiano doesn't train 20 hours a day. He trains consistently every single day for 20 years. English is not a sprint, it is a marathon. The Coca-Cola in your life is the distraction, the lazy scrolling, the excuses. Move the Coke aside. Choose the water. Choose the 30 minutes of study every single morning, no matter how tired you are. That is how you build a mind of a 20-year-old when you are 40. Part 6. The Mental Fortress. Finally, we must look inside his head. Cristiano Ronaldo believes something that might sound crazy to you. He believes he is the best player in history. He has said it in interviews. In my mind, I am always the best. I don't care what the world thinks. In my mind, I am the best. Some call this arrogance, but psychologists call it self-efficacy. If you walk onto the field thinking, maybe I am good, you will fail. You have to walk onto the field thinking, I am the king. He has built a mental fortress. When the fans chant Messi, Messi to annoy him, he scores and points to his ear. When the media says he is finished, he scores a hat trick. He uses hate as fuel. He doesn't need to be loved. He needs to be respected. There is a story that when he rejoined Manchester United at 36, he walked into the canteen. Usually, on Friday nights, players would eat dessert, apple crumble, brownies. But when Ronaldo sat down, nobody touched the sugar. Not one player. They saw his plate, quinoa and avocado, and they were afraid to eat junk food in front of him. Without saying a word, he changed the culture. That is the power of absolute belief. The power of belief. When you speak English, do you apologize? Do you say, sorry, my English is bad? Stop it. Adopt the Ronaldo mindset. Tell yourself, in my mind, I am a fluent speaker. Even if you make mistakes, speak with confidence. Walk into the meeting room like you own it. Fake it until you make it. If you believe you are a poor learner, you will be. If you believe you are a linguistic machine, you will become one. Be arrogant with your learning. Conclusion: the boy who never stopped running. The story of Cristiano Ronaldo is not ending yet, but the lesson is already written in the history books. He was the boy with the racing heart, the boy with the funny accent, the boy with the alcoholic father. He had every reason to fail. He had every reason to be average. But he looked at the hand of cards life dealt him, and he decided to change the deck. He built his body. He sharpened his mind. He hardened his heart. He teaches us the talent is just a starting point. Obsession is the vehicle. Discipline is the fuel. So, here is your final question. You want to learn English. You want to change your life. Are you waiting for a miracle? Are you waiting for it to be easy? It will never be easy. But if you are willing to embrace the pain, if you are willing to be the first one to wake up and the last one to sleep, if you are willing to ignore the laughter and focus on the goal, then you can achieve your own greatness. Don't just watch Ronaldo. Be the Ronaldo of your own life. Thank you for watching Peak English. Now turn off this video, go pick up your book, and don't stop until you win.